Hello, my name is Johan Falk. I work for Node1 Scandinavia. This is the second screencast in the episode in the series where we learn about the relation module. It's a pretty cool module, and I think it will be important in Drupal 7 and very important in Drupal 8. When listening to the conversations going around here at DrupalCon London, I'm in the Coders Lounge right now. DrupalCon! Yay! All right. Yeah. Well, I kind of lost myself there. So in this screencast, we'll look at how to create a relation type and also how to add the first relations to it. We'll use the relation block picker or some relation picker block, something like that, which is some kind of dummy interface created for, I think, testing purposes mainly. The relation module still has some work to do when it comes to widgets and a user interface for creating relations. Right, before starting, this is the Learn Drupal library at Node1. Check it out. We have a lot of content here. If you want to learn about the references module, which is kind of similar to relation but not nearly as flexible and omni-solving, check that out. You could also check out the Drupal 7 book that we sell. It's available at Amazon.com and also the British and French markets right now. And I'm happy to tell you that we just recently applied for getting a Kindle version of it, which costs surprisingly amount of money. Right. The relation module, yeah, we've seen it before, and here is the sandbox site. We have my modules list here. This is a clean install with my plus my standard modules, which includes the admin menu up here and also the module filter module. So the relation modules are from the relation project are included in the relation group here. It's the relation module that's the core thing that provides relation handling. Then we have the relation dummy field that we'll look at later on. I'm enabling it right now, and the relation entity collector block, that's the name of it, that you can use to create entities in a simple way. Right. Saving configuration. Right, they're having fun here. That's good. All right. Modules enabled. You can see that this module, the relation module, doesn't really require other modules, and that's pretty good. It's simple in that respect. Now, with this relation module enabled, you get a new option under structure called relation types. This is used to create new types of relations. Each type of relation have their properties set, like between which type of entities they go, if it's a directional or unidirectional relation, stuff like that. We'll look into details of that later on. I'm going to start by creating a quite simple relation type. I'll call it friends with, and that it can be used to connect users with users. As you can see, I have my IRC chat moving here, going in the background. That's because I'm at DrupalCon London. Right. New relation type, I'm going to call this is friends with. I think the standard for creating relations is to have some kind of verb here. If we go back to the relation, here we have Bruno is child of Boglarka. And I'm right now creating user is friends with user. Use machine name. I'm not going to make this directional. Directional means that there is a designated source and target. There is right now only support for one source and multiple targets, one or many targets. You could actually imagine having several sources, but, well, let's not get into that. Minimum origin, maximum origin means how many endpoints, how many parts, entities can be part of this relation. I'll keep that at 2 right now. So one person is friends with another person. And I'm going to cover these settings later on in our screencast. Let's just start with the easiest case. So this will be used on users, and in a standard Drupal installation there is only one user bundle. There are no different types of users. But I'm still going to select this all user bundles in case we sometime in the future install the profile module, profile 2 module, and create different bundles of users. So we want to have this friends in relation to be able to use with all users. Okay, cool. Save. Now I have a new relation type, is friends with, and I can use that to connect users with users. Before I can do that though, I want to have some more users, so I'm going to use development, generate users. Let's have like what, 10 of them perhaps? And there we go. Right. The question then is, of course, how do we create these relations? If we have the relation type, we want to have people being friends with each other. Well, I'm going to show in this screencast the simplest way of doing it right now. Well, it's a pretty raw version, not the way you want users on your site to work with it. I hope I can show you another way of doing that later on, which is pretty slick, I think. Something that I plan right now on using Page Manager and rules in combination to do, but we'll see if I can make that work. Alright, the blocks, the entity picker thingy, relation entity collector. I'm going to put that in the, say, left sidebar first, for those of you using right to left languages. Say blocks. And if I go over to my user page, I'm admin right now, I have the entity collector here. The entity collector shows all entities loaded on this page. Right now only the admin user. If I was looking at a node, I would have the node and any comments listed here as well. And I'm going to use this entity collector to create a new entity, basically. And then I select an entity, I select which kind of relation I want to create. I only have one, so that's pretty easy. Pick that one, go over to another user account, user 2. This guy is called Fodrenjak. Nice guy. I'm actually friends with him, so I want to select him here. Oh, I have a file entity here as well. Cool. The user Fodrenjak, I'm going to pick him for is friends with. Now I have 2 users in my stack here of users, and I'm going to use them to create my relation. And there it is. I create a new relation, is friends with, from these 2 users. If these entities wouldn't have fit this relation type, I would get a warning and error. Well, an error saying you can't do this, and I would have to clear them or something and start over again. Let's follow this link to have a look at this is friends with relation. It has its own view page at relation/relation ID, and here is the list of the included entities. It has edit button here. It doesn't really do very much right now because I haven't attached anything that is editable here. The actual endpoints to this relation are not editable, but I could have added fields to the relation and have that editable. We'll look at that in the future screencast. I can also delete it, but I don't want to do that right now. So, relation 1 is created, connecting admin and Fodrenjak. They are friends. This is a unidirectional relation, meaning that it doesn't matter if admin is friend. Well, admin is friend with Fodrenjak means the same thing as Fodrenjak is friends with admin. Cool. Right. This is a basic example of how to use relation. You can create a relation type. This is kind of the simplest relation you can do. And right now we use the entity collector block to create relations, which is kind of an awkward way of doing it, but it works and it's good for demonstration purposes. If you want to get involved in the relation module, I think a good approach is to write some kind of widget functionality to create relations in an easier way. However, as Chicks pointed out in the presentation he held yesterday, it's a pretty important thing to know that the relation is not really a part of either the admin entity or the Fodrenjak entity, because it's a separate entity, and editing another entity on these user pages kind of doesn't make sense from a conceptual point of view. Right. That's it. We'll have a close look at what we can do with these relations. I might show you here at the Fodrenjak page. If I reload, we don't see anything about this relation here. It's a free standing entity, this relation, and we need to configure our site in order for it to even affect this user page here. Right. That's it. In the next screencast, we'll look at the the relation dummy widget that will show the relations included in an entity. Right. See you.